Dedication alone is not enough to achieve greatness. It takes practice, it takes patience. And probably more than anything, it takes people working together in partnership. No one can succeed alone and reach the seemingly impossible without a team. A team that enables them, encourages them, and helps them reach their potential. Because partnership is a key value for success. And that's a key value for AWS. Working with partners, we can achieve more than we ever thought possible. Because together, we are unlimited.
Please welcome the Vice President of Worldwide Channels and Alliances at AWS, Ruba Borno.
Good afternoon, Las Vegas. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for everyone watching us around the world. Hello and welcome to the 2022 AWS Partner Keynote at reInvent. This year marks the 10th anniversary of the AWS Partner Network. It's also the 10th anniversary of the AWS Marketplace. Now, what's really exciting for me is it marks my one-year anniversary at AWS. Last year, I was in the audience with many of you, experiencing the keynotes, this incredible event, and all of the celebration of learning, innovation, and collaboration. So it makes sense to start with a celebration, right? Today, I'm thrilled to share the 2022 AWS Partner Award winners. And if you're in the audience today representing one of these companies, please stand up and be recognized for your achievements. This group is special. This year, we received an overwhelming number of award nominations and submissions, over 1,200. And these winners represent the 82 that were selected by IDC. So together with AWS, these partners helped customers transform, achieve more, and succeed. But together, we're just getting started. Every one of the partners that I just shared on the screen worked with customers to help them achieve the goals they didn't think were possible. And that's why we're here, to make the impossible possible. Now, I'd like to ask you to reflect back on that opening video of the marathoner. You saw a man training, then you saw him running the marathon. Now, many may think that running a marathon is an individual sport. And true, a lot of people can succeed if they go it alone. But those who break barriers, those who stand out from the crowd, those who break world records, they work with a team of partners throughout their journey. There's a coach who prepares the marathon training plan, the nutritionist who ensures that the athlete has enough energy stores to complete the race, and then on race day, the pacers who run alongside the athlete, and then the team that supports and cheers him on. And much like in the world of sports today, the bar for business is getting higher and higher. And especially in this economic climate, our customers are being challenged to deliver more and more with less and less. So to achieve this higher bar, our customers cannot go it alone. They need a team. And that team is comprised of you, our AWS partners, and AWS side by side with our partners on their with our customers on their transformation journey. And transform they must. Today, the vast majority of business leaders say that their business models will be unrecognizable in the next 5 years. And just like running, it's all about pace. The pace of innovation, the faster time to market. To evolve at this pace, our customers need your highly technical skills, your innovative thinking, and your differentiated solutions. Just this past year, we worked together to propel hundreds of thousands of customer opportunities forward. And these customers know that there's a great deal of value at stake as they continue their cloud adoption. A new McKinsey study estimated that there is $3 trillion of EBITDA value up for grabs by 2030. One partner that has embraced this transformation fully is Atos. Atos and AWS are partnering to transform Atos's own infrastructure as well as the way that they provide outsourced services to customers across the globe. I'm thrilled to welcome Nourdine Bihmane, CEO of Atos, to the stage to discuss this incredible opportunity. Welcome, Nourdine, and thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you for the partnership between AWS and Atos. Now, this partnership is first of its kind. Can you tell us why you believe this is significant for Atos and our customers?
Thank you, Ruba. First of all, I would like to thank the teams that worked really hard to get us to that point. Leo, Patrick, but also the tremendous leadership of Tanuja. First of its kind, because we are going to change totally the paradigm of the managed services world. Number one, we need to acknowledge our industry has been resistant in adopting all the innovation that the public cloud was bringing to us. So what we are doing in that new agreement, we are acknowledging that and going one step further to even embrace that new world by acknowledging today that you will be our preferred public cloud partner, and we will be a strategic partner for you for data center transformation and IT outsourcing. Second, our customers need now more than ever the deep expertise of our team to address that next migration wave with its associated complexity. So in that new agreement, we are proposing a joint investment to train up to 20,000 employees with additional skill set for migration, integration, and also managed services. And finally, cost competitiveness. This new partnership will also focus on continuous cost optimization, maximizing saving for our customer without compromising performance. So as you said, you know as well as I do that the journey to the cloud is a marathon, not a sprint. This is why, to support the customer in reaching that finish line, two industry leaders are bringing together their forces to break the barriers for our customer. We support them for an even more hybrid world now and in the future. So thank you again, Ruba and your team.
Thank you so much, Nourdine, and thank you for the incredible commitment. 20,000 people certified. So as you heard, there is so much more ahead. And that future will be realized through the power of partnerships. But you're not just hearing it from me. You've heard it from multiple keynotes, including Adam's, and across the many sessions this week, and more to come. You, our partners, are critical to our customers' transformation. And we believe that a better partner experience will result in a better customer experience. So this past year, I asked many of you, why do you choose to work with AWS? You told us you choose AWS because we've got the fastest pace of innovation, the most used marketplace for cloud partners, and the largest and most dynamic community of customers and partners. Now today, you'll see the amazing results that keep us betting on all of you and how AWS, our partners, and our customers are showing up together. You'll learn about the ways that our partners are transforming customers while transforming themselves, about how we're innovating together for our customers to help them achieve outsized performance and scale, and how we're making sure you can reach customers and are doubling down on the AWS marketplace to maximize your opportunity. And real examples of the impact that we are having with our communities alongside our partners. So let's start with transformation. Remember, most business leaders believe that business models will be unrecognizable in the next 5 years. So what that means is that transformation is a business imperative. It is not optional. And the ability for customers to transform their business models often goes beyond incremental change. It's the opportunity to rethink operations, to deliver breakthrough value. And much of this transformation is taking place across industries where specializations are needed. And our partners are a critical piece of that equation. So why is specialization critical? when we looked at what it takes to go from product or service to business outcomes, it can take almost up to 15 products or services to achieve that business outcome. 15. So our partners, you, unlock the value by bringing these architectures together and helping our customers every step of their journey. To do this, many of our partners have demonstrated deep AWS technical expertise and proven success in specialized industries like retail, life sciences, financial services. And by becoming an AWS competency partner, our partners have gone through a stringent vetting process to achieve that competency designation. One of these specialty areas is supply chain. And one customer that had a strong vision for how to reinvent their supply chain was Heineken. Heineken is a 160-year-old staple in the world of premium beer. They wanted to modernize their supply chain by improving the processes and increasing visibility. And they had to do it with the shop worker in mind. So working with AWS partner Schuberg Philis, Heineken connected 16 production lines and 140 breweries across the globe to a new cloud-based platform. Now with this supply chain transformation, Heineken expects to achieve significant savings. And I want you to hear it from the team that did the work. Please welcome Julia Chen, Vice President of AWS Partner Core. She's joined on stage by Michael Magd, who is the leader of Global Connected Brewery from Heineken, and Roland Kuipers, Chief Technology Officer from Schuberg Philis.
Very good. Michiel, so Heineken is an iconic global brand. You've spent 160 years brewing fantastic beer and also innovating, and now you're on stage at AWS reInvent. So tell us, why do you use AWS and what challenges were you trying to solve?
Well, thank you, Julia. It's fantastic to be here, and thanks for the invitation. Before I go into the challenge, maybe let's talk a little bit about the Heineken company. So we have 185 breweries in more than 70 countries. And with 85,000 colleagues, we produce about 300 beer brands worldwide. So we're one of the most international and largest breweries in the world. It's about 4 years ago, that we realized that we had to make the next step in our continuous improvement journey, which we call TPM, also known as Total Productive Management. And therefore, we looked into what new digital technology could bring to us. And that's why we introduced what we call the Connected Brewery, which has the mission to intelligently support our shop floor workers. So when listening to our operators, we figured out that creating better insights into production processes has a huge value potential. But that at the same time also came with a challenge, right? So we have a large global footprint. Our breweries are not standardized. We run a wide variety of different machines, different production lines from different suppliers with different protocols, very complicated. So, and we knew that only if we could create scale, it could deliver the value that we expect. So that's why we started actually an experiment with our friends from Schuberg Philis and AWS, and that's where we developed the Connected Brewery platform. And that has been hugely successful so far. So the platform itself helps us to keep the ownership of our data. It avoids that we create siloed insights. And most important, it helps us to easily scale use cases from one brewery to another brewery. So now our shop floor workers, they have real-time insights into the production processes. They can see the temperatures, the speed of the lines, but we also scale more clever use cases like algorithms that help to define root causes of minor stops and slowdowns of the lines. So far, very, very beneficial to us, yeah.
That's very impressive, Michiel. Thank you. And Roland, thanks so much for joining us as well. So you are from Schuberg Philis, and Schuberg Philis is an AWS partner that has a data and analytics competency. So tell us what differentiates you, and how have you been helping Heineken with their challenges?
Thank you, Julia, and thanks for having us. Great. Schuberg Philis has been servicing large enterprises from day one. We've been doing that also in regulated markets a lot. And I think what differentiates Schubert Phillips is that we do that with dedicated self-steering teams of experts in the lead. And this is teams we assemble for the challenge at hand. So like we did for Heineken, data engineers, data scientists to drive their challenge. And we have a single KPI for these teams, and that's 100% customer satisfaction. So one could say, yeah, we're like Amazon, pretty customer obsessed. And the tagline of our company, it's the people actually, because we truly believe that technology in the end can only turn stuff into value when leveraged correctly. And I think that also pretty much aligned on the challenge we faced with Heineken, putting the operator, the shop floor worker in the center of the solution. I think that's also a nice bridge to one of the first challenges we needed to overcome. And that obviously is that we needed to deliver value through insights for the shop floor worker. So it was paramount that the two digital tools, the insights we were delivering, were actually being used. Otherwise, it's value going to waste. Hence, we spent a lot of time to develop the tools actually with the shop floor, basically working backwards from what they needed through insights. The other big challenge we faced was the enormous complexity of the brewery operation of Heineken. So we needed to abstract away that complexity in order to deliver these insights and in tools in a working fashion. And we did that twofold. We developed the so-called Connected Brewery Kit to fetch real-time data from the machines in operation, but also being able to tap into the transactional data also living on the shop floor. And the other thing we did is for the vertical scaling, is that we developed our own tools in order to scale the use cases in a seamless fashion. So nowadays we can connect a new factory literally within a day, and in the same pace can also deliver the developed use cases. I think another interesting challenge we faced, and that has to do with the scale of Heineken, is that we really together wanted to democratize the data and being able to also facilitate the people on the shop floor to build their own insights, but also local opcos that they are able also to develop their own digital tools and insights and drive value in a decentralized and federated fashion. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, absolutely. So it's flexible and it's customizable as well. Thank you very much for that. So Michiel, tell us about the benefits of this connected brewing platform and how is it contributing to the overall success of Heineken?
Yeah, but maybe first of all, let me just confirm what Roland just said, right? So the Connected Brewery platform was not a solution looking for a problem, but it really helped us to create the next generation of workers. So after 2 months after we've connected the first packaging line in the first brewery, we saw already 10% of efficiency gains. So we knew that we were on something good. So the next thing we did was we established an organization that was capable to scale and connect many more breweries. And we started sizing the value potential, which is really, really huge. And we do not only look at financial values, we also help our very ambitious Heineken sustainability agenda. So we try to decrease energy and water consumption. And most important, we make the people on the shop floor happier, right? So we try to help them with their increasingly complex work. So today we have 52 breweries live. We hope to reach 60 connected breweries by the end of the year. And by 2024, we have 140 breweries connected. So we're really on there. Maybe good, just as a last remark, right? It's good that people understand that technology transformation happens at the hands of people. And that's why we work with Schubert Phillips and AWS, because I think we have that common philosophy and a shared passion for that.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing your incredible story, really, of people-centric and sustainable transformation. Thanks.
Thank you.
Such an amazing example of business value. And we've heard hundreds of stories like this with the ingenuity from our partners. We know it takes vision, planning, and hard work to transform your capabilities to deliver on those types of outcomes. But as you just heard, when it's done right, the results speak for themselves. But it's not just good for customers. Delivering these business outcomes by building practices on and selling multiple AWS services is good for our partners. In fact, a new global study shows that partners who build on and sell multiple AWS services can make $6.40 on top of every dollar of AWS that they sell. And when we inspect that value, 61% of it is realized in the first year of a customer project. Now, those are the types of numbers we like to see, and it shows that building these AWS practices not only brings customers value, but it brings our partners value quickly. And this value is sustainable because 79% of the partners in this study indicated that customers increased their cloud consumption and the additional services consumption after the first year of the projects. That is more and more value for customers and more value for our partners. Now at AWS, we are constantly striving to understand you, our partners' needs. We're committed to providing you with the right tools and programs to ensure that you become more profitable as your business with us evolves. We've invested in enablement programs like the Partner Paths, or AWS SaaS Factory, and the AWS Partner Solution Factory. These programs are designed to help you deliver higher value to customers. Let's take Partner Paths, which we launched last year. This is a guided journey tailored to your business model and your customer offerings. We now have 5 partner paths for software, hardware, training, distribution, and services. And I'm happy to share that since we launched the partner paths last year, we've seen an immense uptake, over 100,000 enrollments across all paths. So if you haven't enrolled yet, I strongly encourage you to do so. Another way we're helping you to differentiate is through the AWS SaaS Factory. This is a strategic accelerator that helps AWS partners at any stage of their journey. You receive direct access to technical and business content, best practices, solution architects, and SaaS experts that can guide you and help you accelerate delivery of SaaS solutions. The example you see behind me is the Smart Factory by Deloitte in Wichita. And that's a real factory that leveraged SaaS Factory, where you can see how customers can transform their manufacturing environments. Now, we also know, and we've heard from customers, that they often prefer pre-built, supported solutions from a partner who understands their existing environment. So to further speed your ability to deliver on these solutions, I'm excited to announce the preview of the AWS Partner Solution Factory, which lets you collaborate with AWS experts on storyboards, on system architecture designs, demos, and other resources, many industry-specific. And what's great is that you can choose to put these solutions, along with those from AWS SaaS Factory and from our worldwide specialist organization, in the AWS Solutions Library, where customers and partners can already today find hundreds of solutions readily available to solve their business needs, or to address their business needs. Now, partners who utilize these programs successfully are able to deliver on business outcomes to customers. And what better customer outcome than a superior customer experience? Now, one great example of a partner that excels here is Local Measure, an ISV in Australia, New Zealand, who recently helped Vodafone enhance its customer experience platform to better meet customer demands. Local Measure used their own Engage platform to extend the power of Amazon Connect. And listen to this impact. They dramatically reduced the time for Vodafone to deploy a contact center from up to 12 months down to just 80 days. They're now working with other customers to do the same. Let's see how.
Vodafone New Zealand is one of New Zealand's leading digital services companies. We have over 2 million customers and service everything from consumers right up to large-scale businesses.
In 2020, we started our digital transformation for our on-prem contact center solution supporting our voice and chat technologies. Amazon Connect provides us with a cloud-based dynamic solution to allow us to configure and route calls to our agents. It provides us with an open architecture which allowed us to select complementary technologies to surround that solution to provide a really bespoke and really catered for solution for our agents and for our customers. As part of the open architecture of Amazon Connect, it allowed us to select complementary technologies to support both workforce management and our agent desktop experience. Local Measure came out headstrong because not only did it support our future digital strategy, moving from voice to chat, but it also opened up a number of asynchronous social channels to allow our customers to connect to us from anywhere.
As the leaders of the contact centre within New Zealand, it really has impacted the way that we operate and the way that we work. We have a lot more trust in the data and insights that we see coming through. Some of the things we've noticed from a metrics point of view in the contact centre is efficiency. Productivity has definitely increased. Our TNPS has increased as well. Our average handle time has actually decreased 2 minutes, and also our total fix has increased nearly 10%.
In summary, working with Local Measure and Amazon Connect has been great. They've allowed us to focus on innovation without having to focus on the technology.
Now that was such a great example of delivering real customer benefits. And at the heart of that experience is innovation. Customers today expect more. They are always eager to see what innovation comes next. And more importantly, they're eager to understand how it will change their business for the better. Now with our partners, we strive to deeply understand customers and work backwards from their challenges to develop meaningful solutions that drive innovation and ultimately improve their business. At Amazon, this stems from our day one mentality, a culture that puts the customer at the heart of everything that we do. IBM is a 111-year-old company that continues to operate as if it's day one to surprise and delight their customers. Just this past May, IBM and AWS signed a strategic collaboration agreement to develop and deliver IBM software as a service first on AWS. And in just a few months, many of those SaaS offers are already available. This means that customers can now access IBM software on AWS and procure it through the AWS Marketplace. This is a game changer for IBM's customers as they seek the benefits of the cloud for their own businesses. One such customer is Inter. It's a 100% cloud-based bank in Brazil that grew to millions of customers within just a few years, all on IBM and AWS. Now, innovation was at the heart of that growth and Inter's success. So to tell you more about this strategic relationship between IBM and AWS, and also to hear from Inter and the amazing impact that they've had, I'd like to turn it over to Kathleen Curry, AWS Director of Worldwide Strategic Alliances, along with Tom Rosamilia, Senior Vice President, IBM Software, and Guilherme Ximenez de Almeida, the CTO of Inter.
Well, welcome to you both. And Tom, let's start with you. IBM has a remarkable track record of both adaptation and innovation. And as we just heard this year, we signed a first-of-its-kind collaboration agreement to deliver IBM software as a service on AWS. And we're also making strategic investments across a broad range. Can you talk a little bit more about that and the impact to our customers?
I sure can, and thanks for having me here. We really appreciate being a sponsor and getting this slide. There's been tremendous value in helping clients to digitally transform, in areas like data-driven AI and automation and security and sustainability, and skill shortages are with us. I mean, I don't think this is going to change despite some of the downturns that are happening. And the only way to get around this is with automation and with SaaS. And we were very pleased. We're using the AWS SaaS Factory. We've done some integrated go-to-market activity. We're investing in federal and oil and gas, travel and transportation, and financial services. I would say that software is a little bit late to the game. IBM Consulting was doing this for a long time, or for a couple of years, I should say. And we've gone from 10,000 certified consultants in the time I made the announcement back in May to 15,000 IBM Consulting certifications today. We went from largely irrelevant to having over $1 billion of relationship with AWS and multiple times that amount in pipe. This is really key to our hybrid cloud story. It's Red Hat at the core. It's write once, run anywhere. Back in April of 2021, Red Hat, in collaboration with AWS, delivered something called ROSA, which is Red Hat OpenShift on AWS. And that was key. That's key for us to do the write once, run anywhere. And today, I'm pleased to announce that Invisi, our environmental suite, Planning Analytics is in beta right now, Content Services and App Connect. So 3 things are generally available, 1 in beta, and more to come next year.
Well, we're super excited about those announcements and the partnership, Tom.
Thank you.
Guilherme, you are the CTO of one of the fastest growing financial companies in Brazil. And you're also an end user of both AWS and IBM solutions. You started your digital banking strategy back in 2017, and fast forward 5 years, Inter is listed on NASDAQ, and you have reinvented the way people use financial services in Brazil and around the world. Can you tell us more about that journey?
Kathleen, as you mentioned, financial and non-financial services, Inter is day-to-day banking, investments, loans, virtual shopping, insurance, cross-border transactions, and so much more. And our vision was to offer everything in one single super app. Now imagine the challenge of building an app that has 10 million access per day, 2,500 microservices, receives 1 million API calls per minute, and concentrates almost 10% of all instant payments in Brazil. On top of that, imagine a user base that grows from 100,000 customers to more than 20 million customers in just 5 years. So from a CTO perspective, I was confident that an all-in strategy with cloud was the way to go. But the moment's challenge was to anticipate future problems of scale, to reduce the noise of a challenging operational environment and acquire the capacity to serve multiple times more the growing volumes of our business. And there was no lift and shift strategy. We were going to re-architect and build everything from scratch, and we did it. And Tom, with IBM onboarded, it was no different. We've partnered to build all of our bill payments and wire transfers, integration with Brazilian Central Bank, using IBM MQ and IBM Connect, lifting and reshaping it to perfectly fit everything that the AWS cloud could offer.
Wow, what an incredible story. And as you reflect on that journey, taking your vision to reality, what stands out now as the most powerful moment?
Truly, the sound of silence. The noise is gone, and in my mind I hear the soft murmurs of efficiency, the gentle sounds of our super app running like a fine-tuned engine. And that's performance, that's resiliency, that's scalability. Today, we transact more than $20 billion per month, with over 15 million financial transactions per day. That's almost 15% of Brazil's GDP, a stunning growth that I can even tell how many times more of what we had in 2017. And also from an operational perspective, we are able to rebuild our environment in any needed scenario, faster, easier, and with way less maintenance. But in the end, the most memorable for me is the sounds of efficiency and having Inter's amazing team during all this journey.
Well, what a powerful demonstration of how technology impacts enterprise transformation and specifically digital banking. Thank you for sharing that story, Guilherme. And Tom, oh yes.
It's quite a story.
It is quite a story. And Tom, as a veteran who has been at the center of this type of work and who has seen innovation across all industries, including IBM, can you share with us those key attributes you've seen in those that have continued to innovate and reinvent themselves for a long-lasting, successful relationship with technology and in their own industries?
I think it's all about the incredible passion and creativity and this thrive for learning, this curiosity that we all have to have, the reinvention, to quote Amazon. We had to reinvent the company. We have to reinvent ourselves. I mean, things I learned in computer science many years ago as a veteran are still relevant today, but every day you have to learn something new about data science or about quantum computing or about security, cybersecurity, or about, actually you have to learn about, being an ally. You have to learn about standing up for people and using privilege and not denying it anymore. And I learned a lot from my employees in those moments around Black Lives Matter. It was a super learning experience for me. So we look for people who have that level of curiosity and are going to keep it with a passion. I think the key to that is a lot to do with humility. I have an expression that it's really hard to learn when you already know it all. And if you're a know-it-all and you're the smartest person in the room, you're not going to learn very much. But you have to admit, hey, I don't understand this. Can we get into a dialogue? Can we talk about this? And I think that learning and that changing is what allowed us to do the partnership with AWS that we signed back in May. It was a breakthrough moment for us. I don't think we would have been here. We weren't here a year ago talking about IBM software running on the platform. And now we're talking about 20 products, 4 of which are already available. And just to acknowledge Inter, great customer to us both. And they're also using our Watson Assistant for their call center. And it's called Babi. And you can play with it online if you're a customer and learn a lot about getting answers. So thank you.
Well, thank you for your perspective on that. And thank you both for your partnership. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Amazing insights from Tom on how to constantly reinvent and innovate. And then the story about Inter going from 100,000 subscribers or customers in 2017 to 20 million in 2022 shows the impact and the scale. And then to hear Guilherme say that the sound of silence was the measurement of success. What that showed was that maintaining a day one mindset was all about working backwards from customer needs. Now these days, an area where customers really need support and where AWS and our partners are innovating relentlessly is cybersecurity. Today, customers are facing an onslaught of cybersecurity threats. Companies are stitching together more and more systems into their IT environments, and each addition can create new vulnerabilities. So as the threat landscape continues to grow and the number of threat actors continues to increase, it's never been more important for AWS and our partners to join forces and address this challenge for our customers. It's a challenge that seems like a never-ending race, and as customers form the patchwork of solutions to mitigate against these threats, it becomes more and more important for them to have the ability to see and understand how all of those pieces fit together. Our customers need a holistic view of all security-related data. They want it across all tools and solutions. They want this access on demand, and they want it fast, no matter the size of the data set. And they want to retain ownership of their data, regardless of the security or analytical tools that they use. So this week, you heard Adam announce the Amazon Security Link, a service that makes it easier for security teams to gather and analyze data to improve their security. What I find really exciting about this service is that it was designed with our security partners in mind. Threat data can be added from more than 24 partners who are part of the Open Cybersecurity Schema Framework, or OCSF, and more than 50 security tools integrated in the AWS Security Hub. Amazon Security Lake is the first service that supports the Open Cybersecurity Schema Framework. And this is a standard that we launched earlier this year with some of our key partners like Splunk, Broadcom, Palo Alto, SentinelOne, and 18 other founding partners. And now there are more than 60 participating members. OCSF provides an open, vendor-agnostic taxonomy to help all security teams realize better, faster data ingestion and analysis. And it's all about partners, innovating with you to deliver solutions for customers. It's really exciting to see the security landscape come together across all partner types to innovate and to really help our customers address one of the biggest challenges in IT. So let's hear from some of them.
My name is Rich Campagna. I'm Senior Vice President and General Manager of Posture Control at Zscaler.
My name is James Beasley, and I'm the Vice President of Cloud Engagement at Palo Alto Networks.
My name is Stephen Lee, VP of Technical Strategy and Partnerships at Okta.
We are now one of AWS's leading security vendors. As a direct result of our integrations with their Security Hub, GuardDuty, and other services that have become available, we have taken advantage of those and at scale.
Amazon has been a leader in cloud services since the very beginning of the cloud. Zscaler's partnership with AWS has been critical for us to help reach the right audiences.
OCSF is an open source initiative, and it's looking to help organizations to detect, investigate, and stop security attacks faster and more effectively.
OCSF is important because for the first time, Across the industry, we're driving a standardized format for critical security signals, which have typically been very difficult for the enterprise to organize and put together.
Technology that's delivered to integrate and interop will deliver more value and more security. And that's why we're so excited about OCSF. And with the launch of Amazon Security Lake, we're bringing all this into reality.
Amazon Security Lake is the critical action point for the enterprise to do that. This becomes the storing house for critical security data, and then the organization can either operate on that data in place or pull it into their own security systems.
OCSF allows us to do that and sets up a framework that allows that exchange of information to make us all more secure.
AWS has been an amazing partner to work with, not only because of the innovative mindset, but also the security mindset. And I think the launch of Amazon Security Lake and OCSF is a great example of that.
So not only are we building together to improve customer outcomes like with OCSF, but we're also working together to expand your opportunities with more customers. Today, we have thousands of partners who trust AWS to take their growth with customers to new heights. One way we do this is via the AWS ISV Accelerate program. Now with this program, we team our partners with AWS sellers to drive new business and speed sales cycles through co-selling. Many partners have seen opportunities amplify, and I wanted to call out some of our top ISV partners. Snowflake shared with us that for 96% of the deals that they register with AWS, their field gets support from AWS. MongoDB awarded AWS Cloud Co-sell Partner of the Year this year. And Databricks has seen outsized results. They've expanded their relationship with AWS this year and also saw that it was because their pipeline doubled from 2020 to 2021 and deal sizes increased as well. We're committed to helping our partners get to the right customers. We're also helping our partners reach public sector customers. For ISVs, pursuing a certification like FedRAMP can be complicated, and it can take years to gain approval. This is where AWS public sector partners help ISVs navigate the stringent security certification through the Authority to Operate, or ATO program. So take Seven Bridges Genomics. It's an ISV that's accelerating breakthroughs in genomic research. They worked with Shellman & Company, an Authority to Operate AWS partner, to accelerate their certification process and reach critical customers in the public sector. Let's hear how.
Seven Bridges is a biomedical data analysis company advancing precision medicine. We support researchers to be able to analyze petabytes of genomic data in order to advance health outcomes. Genomic data is unique because not only is it incredibly data and analysis intensive, it's also security intensive. And that's because it's really someone's most sensitive data. One of the critical things that Seven Bridges does for the National Institutes of Health is it builds data ecosystems that allow researchers to access these very large data sets. In order to provide the secure authentication and authorization to those data sets, it's really important the entire framework is certified under a FedRAMP certification.
The Federal Risk and Authorization Management Program, or FedRAMP, is one of the most challenging standards that are out there in the world of compliance. And to do it successfully, you've really got to have the right partners in the process. One is your auditor, and that for us is Shellman.
Shellman is the cybersecurity assessment firm where we help our clients build trust with their customers through assessments like FedRAMP, SOC, ISO, and pen testing. Shellman was able to help Seven Bridges on their FedRAMP journey because Seven Bridges uses AWS, and Shellman is an Authority to Operate on AWS partner.
Through achieving FedRAMP, Seven Bridges is now able to enable researchers working with the US federal government to make genomic discoveries and to help improve the lives of patients, to help advance precision medicine.
Science is increasingly a team sport, so it requires that researchers of all different expertise and backgrounds come together to work on the data.
When you think of compliance or audit or assessments, you think it's this check the box exercise, but the difference here is because Seven Bridges was able to get their FedRAMP authorization, now they're able to make a huge difference in the healthcare arena. So now we can actually say it's not a checkbox exercise, but we're making a difference for humankind.
I love the reference in that video to our partnerships being a team sport. And we take the concept of teaming seriously. Now, one place where we're teaming really well is AWS Marketplace, where our co-selling motions are growing. And many partners are leveraging the AWS Marketplace as an important route to market. Partners on the AWS Marketplace are reaping significant benefits, including 27% higher win rates, 40% faster sales cycles, and 80% larger deal sizes. That's why we're doubling down on the AWS Marketplace. And while these opportunities are incredible, they're not just for ISVs. The AWS Marketplace is also providing substantial economic impact for resellers, distributors, system integrators, managed service providers, and channel partners alike. And those partners are showing up with services on AWS Marketplace. Take, for example, SHI, that offers cloud optimization services, or Presidio, with over 15 services, including disaster recovery, machine learning, and ransomware mitigation, and Accenture, offering solutions ranging from conversational AI to advanced security solutions, and Slalom, offering solutions from cost optimization to data modernization, among many others, all listed on AWS Marketplace. And this is just the beginning. And then there are companies like Cisco, who transact over 90% of their revenue with channel partners, and they're using the AWS Marketplace to cloud enable their channel. So we're investing to make sure that the AWS Marketplace meets our partners' needs. And as the volume of transactions being managed on AWS Marketplace increases, we've heard you. We've heard our partners loud and clear. You needed more automation to speed up internal mechanisms for sales compensation. You told us that as an AWS Marketplace partner, you needed efficient ways to organize and view subscription data for financial analysis. You wanted this information organized by product or geography. You wanted a custom view for your business. And you needed an out-of-the-box visualization dashboard to get a quick snapshot of the overall state of your business on AWS Marketplace. So that's why I'm thrilled to announce the public preview of AWS Marketplace Data Visualization Dashboards. Now, with these dashboards, AWS Marketplace partners can easily understand and grow their business without any technical integration. Sellers can now visualize their financial data, get visibility on their invoicing and disbursements, and see the overall picture of their business with AWS Marketplace. Now, we're also working to provide more visibility for the hundreds of thousands of customers who buy through the AWS Marketplace. Customers told us that they want a more automated way to govern third-party software, ensure the software they procure will not result in business disruption, financial or reputational damage, or loss of compliance status. Now, the way customers do this today is through a tedious manual process that provides a single static snapshot of their risks, which is why I'm thrilled to announce the general availability of AWS Marketplace Vendor Insights. This is a new feature that reduces the complexity of risk assessments by compiling security and compliance information for third-party software and presenting it in a unified way to customers. With Vendor Insights, customers can conduct risk assessments within hours, and they can continuously monitor the security posture of their third-party software. And Vendor Insights has already received a great response from ISVs, who are really positive about the efficiencies it creates for them while helping AWS customers know that they're buying with convenience, confidence, and control. So as you can see, we will continue to invest in your success and expanding your opportunities with AWS at every stage of your journey. Whether you want to reach new customers, co-sell with AWS sellers, or take advantage of the AWS Marketplace, we believe that the highest level of customer obsession is partnership. Not only do we partner with you to make our customers successful, we partner with you to make you successful as a customer. To hear more from our ISV customers and partners, I'd like to welcome Chris Bruce, General Manager of AWS ISVs, with John Frank, President of Customer Experience from Infor, Erica Schultz, President, Field Operations at Confluent, and Nick Tributario, NASDAQ's SVP and Chief Architect.
All right, well, first of all, big thank you to all three of you for joining us on stage today. As you know, we've recently changed our coverage model so we can provide better coverage for our ISVs building on top of AWS. And we now have dedicated coverage teams to cover infrastructure ISVs, line of business ISVs, and vertical ISVs building on top of AWS. And so as leaders across those three respective segments, we would love to hear how AWS is helping you grow and transform your businesses moving forward. So we're going to first start with you, Erica, and Confluent. So Confluent provides a market-leading data streaming platform, and you traditionally fall in our infrastructure space. Can you talk about how working with Amazon Partner Network and Marketplace is helping transform your business and your customers as well?
Sure. And first, Chris, thank you for having me, and thank you to AWS for a fantastic week. For those not familiar with Confluent, we are a data streaming platform pioneering a fundamentally new category of data infrastructure that sets data in motion. And we partner with our customers to stream data to deliver rich front-end digital customer experiences, as well as to help them transition to software-defined, sophisticated back-end company operations. We've worked together with AWS across hundreds of customers, but a couple of great examples are Expedia, where Confluent Cloud on AWS has helped them handle spikes in traffic 40 times the normal volume with zero downtime, as well as Sainsbury's, the grocery retailer in the UK, where we serve as the data streaming backbone that enables them to improve forecasting and supply chain management. So we've done a lot of good work together. And as it relates to the partnership, I would say there are two programs that we've really seen a lot of impact from AWS. We work together across a lot of programs, but I'll highlight two. The first one is ISV Accelerate, which we've been a part of since the launch. And ISV Accelerate has really helped us, I would say, align our co-selling efforts in the field. And as you know, we do have services that overlap. And so we have that healthy co-opetition together. So ISV Accelerate has really helped us get our teams aligned and optimize the partnership. The second program I'll mention is AWS Marketplace, where we see a lot of value in acquiring new customers through self-service marketplace, meeting developers early in the journey, as well as leveraging the private offers marketplace, again, for the co-selling efforts in the field. So, and lastly, I'll highlight that we're really proud that one of our own at Confluent has earned the APN Global ISV Ambassador of the Year award, Joseph Murai. And I think that's a strong testament to our joint investment in the SA community. So we're doing good work together, and we're just getting started.
Cool. Thank you very much, Erica. So we're going to move to NASDAQ next. And Nick, so Nick, NASDAQ's really started to emerge as an industry-leading vertical ISV. And you already have a number of solutions that you've built on top of AWS Cloud. And you've recently announced the launch of your digital assets business, which has a number of solutions that you're also planning to promote through Marketplace, including a digital currency wallet. So can you talk a little bit about how AWS and the Amazon Partner Network is helping transform industry solutions?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Chris, for having us. Boy, it's been a great re:Invent so far. First of all, we've had a really great year together. We worked together to bring successfully our first market to the cloud. And now we're working to advance NASDAQ's mission to revolutionize capital markets. And I think having the first digital assets wallet offering on AWS Marketplace is just another milestone for NASDAQ and Amazon. And it just proves that our two companies can come together and solve key industry challenges at the right time. And really, if you look at the next frontier in financial evolution, it's blockchain technology, which underpins this entire ecosystem. And together, working closely with AWS, we've developed a very innovative digital assets custody solution that we plan to make available on AWS Marketplace for AWS Marketplace customers. And this solution, combined with our crypto-specific on- and off-chain monitoring capabilities for fraud detection, for market abuse, and for anti-money laundering activities, is going to be critical in solving the evolving needs of this growing market. And I want to talk a little bit about why this is important. From our experience, trust and integrity are absolute pillars of any market. And in order to have trust and integrity, you require proven, true institutional grade solutions, institutional grade technology, as well as capabilities such as market monitoring, anti-financial crime capabilities, et cetera. And as we've doubled down our offering on the AWS Partner Network to fully grow our SaaS offering, I think extending these capabilities to the thousands of AWS customers out there is going to just extend the reach of the innovation and power of our institutional grade solutions to all of the thousands of marketplace customers out there, and really help our mission to continue to secure and strengthen this growing ecosystem. And we're really, really grateful for the opportunity to be the first digital assets wallet solution and digital assets custody listed on AWS Marketplace.
Great. Yeah, it's been a fun year, and I'm looking forward to a lot more. So let's wrap up with John. So Infor, market-leading horizontal line of business application, ERP software, CRM software. You've been a long-time AWS partner. Can you talk a little bit how working with Amazon Partner Network and Marketplace is actually starting to accelerate your business with our customers on the cloud?
Yeah, first and foremost, thank you for having us, and thank you, AWS. It's been an amazing, amazing several days here. As you know, we have a decade-long partnership, and that partnership didn't start with us being on Marketplace. It actually started with us instrumenting our software as a customer to run on your infrastructure. And over time, that relationship, that partnership has thrived, it has flourished, and it has changed as the market and as the needs of our customers have changed. And now we find ourselves to be more co-innovation partners, bringing insights and information and access and new capabilities forward via the Marketplace as a new medium for our customers to access our tools and solutions. So, give you a couple of examples. Thinking about in healthcare, the power of the combination of Infor and AWS with healthcare partners and providers here in the audience, being able to bring a transformed healthcare and managed healthcare experience to both the hospital experience, but also the patient experience. I heard on the stage a little bit talking about Smart Factory, right? In partnership with Deloitte, being able to bring that forward through the Marketplace as well. And the Marketplace, I believe, as we're on track for the end of this year to have transacted roughly about 50 million.
A little higher, yeah.
Yes, quite a bit. 7-fold growth over the last several years. So it's been a phenomenal way for us to provide access and insight and information to our customer base and prospective customers.
Cool. Well, thank you all for joining me on stage. John, Eric, and Nick, thank you very much. It's a great session.
Amazing examples of companies like Infor, Confluent, and NASDAQ working with AWS, working with the AWS Partner Network, and also listing on the AWS Marketplace. Now, another significant use of the AWS Marketplace is the distribution of third-party data through the AWS Data Exchange to efficiently reach AWS customers. One of those customers is Wine Access. This is a direct-to-consumer wine distributor that distributes millions of bottles of wine annually to hundreds of thousands of consumers across the United States. Wine Access uses AWS Data Exchange to improve the customer experience for wine drinkers across the US. Now, they worked with JBS, an AWS retail competency partner, and Weather Trends 360, an AWS data exchange provider. And they integrated weather data with their customer delivery process to forecast optimal delivery routes to deliver the wine in the best condition to the customer. Their customers across the US don't have to worry about their wine spoiling on their doorstep in hot weather. Now, like Wine Access, customers using AWS Data Exchange want the data that they've paid for to be available as quickly and as easily as possible. They need to minimize the time-consuming preparation efforts to make a new data set ready for production. So today, I'm happy to announce not one, but two previews: the AWS Data Exchange for AWS Lake Formation and the AWS Data Exchange for Amazon S3. These provide ready-to-use AWS Glue tables so customers can query and analyze the data more easily and enable customers to find and subscribe to and use third-party files directly from data provider S3 buckets. We are so excited about the continued potential for AWS Marketplace, for our partners to sell their SaaS offers, services solutions, or data to hundreds of thousands of customers, so that you can expand your opportunities with AWS. So you've seen how AWS, our partners, and our customers work together. You've heard our commitment to your success. And that commitment comes straight to the top. And I'm so excited to welcome Adam Selipsky, AWS CEO, and Stephen Burke, Executive Editor of CRN Magazine, to the stage. Woo.
Before we begin, Adam, I just want to thank you on behalf of all the AWS partners for your channel commitment, investments, and the relentless innovation. We're here celebrating the 10th anniversary of the AWS Partner Network and the AWS Marketplace, which, of course, you helped create when you first started at AWS.
Well, I'm absolutely delighted to be here. Thank you for doing this with us. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Stephen. And I'm having kind of flashbacks from yesterday, I've got to say. You know, it's a different occasion, but you know, hopefully I won't blur. You know.
Well, we're also celebrating the first anniversary of AWS Worldwide Channel Chief Ruba Borno, who's had an enormous impact on driving partner sales growth and profitability. So before we begin, I just wanted to get everybody to give a round of applause for Adam and Ruba. So to kick it off, Adam, in the past 18 months, you've put your own stamp on the AWS channel. As you look into the future, what is your vision for the AWS partner ecosystem?
Well, the part of it is the same as it's been since day one, literally since day one for us, which is that partners have always been an absolutely central plank, I'll call it, of our strategy, of what AWS is trying to do. Now, we have more resources today than we had in 2006 when we launched. We could put more into the partner ecosystem and partner community, but it's really the same idea, which is that we're going to do a lot of things ourselves, but there's going to be a vastly larger number of things that our customers need that we won't provide, that we're going to have partners for, and that we want to have partners for. So that's been consistent. And I think that people have really seen us walk that walk, you know, over the years. And so as we've grown bigger and we've had more and more resources, we put more and more into the partner ecosystem. So that's one piece of it. And then I think that you know, driving innovation together is a big piece of it. So we're doing a lot of things. We're building capabilities with partners, or they're building on top of us. So you know, Deloitte Smart Factory, which I think folks here had some exposure to, is a great place to see almost every AWS service in motion. So that's pretty interesting. And just yesterday, for example, we announced the Amazon Security Lake, and that's built in conjunction with a whole bunch of security-focused partners, and not only security, data-focused partners, logging, et cetera, et cetera. And so we worked with Splunk on that, and of course companies like Okta, Broadcom, et cetera. So really important to have those partnerships in place, and the innovation that we're going to drive together is an important piece of it. The third piece is really continuing to build capabilities, for partners. I mean, ultimately, both we and the whole partner community exist for one reason, which is to add value to customers, make their lives easier. But we also want to enable partners and activate partners as well. And I think the go-to-market programs that we've built, we're certainly not done, but we've made a lot of progress and are doing a lot more today than we used to do. And we have all sorts of capabilities in terms of joint go-to-market. I think the AWS Marketplace is a great example. And it's come so far over the years. I mean, it has just evolved so much, and we've built technical capabilities over the past 5 or 6 years that just didn't exist there before. Things like the ability to vend private offers, to our partners and customers, and that's really important. And as a result, we've seen tremendous success by so many partners in different sectors selling on the AWS marketplace. CrowdStrike is a great example. They already last year and the year before already had a very good business on the AWS marketplace, and yet their business there grew over 100% in the last year that just ended in March of this year. So there's a lot of opportunities there across a lot of different sectors, and we're going to continue to invest there. And it's great for our joint end customers, and it's great for our partners for us to be able to provide that kind of exposure. And then also working one-to-one together in the field. We've got the ISV Accelerate program, for example, where we know how to register deals and actually incent salespeople and that type of thing. And that's been quite successful over the last few years as well.
Well, that gets to the point of one of the things we've seen at CRN under Ruba's leadership is a dramatic increase in co-selling with AWS and with partners differentiating themselves in the marketplace and the network. So as you look forward, what do you see as the key success drivers for partners working with AWS?
I think first is just philosophical, and then we'll maybe get to some more tactical ones. The first is really to keep in mind that we are here to partner together, again, for our end customers. And at the end of the day, it's about that. And 10 times out of 10, we AWS are going to make the decisions that we think are best for end customers. And there's so many opportunities for partners within that, but we need partners to be taking the same mindset and to understand that it's our jobs to figure out how to work together to really kind of create innovation for customers. But more specifically, I think that a lot of the most successful partners that we've seen in partnering with us really take almost a business unit view of it, and really building capabilities, building organizational capabilities around working with AWS and going to the field together. And top-down leadership is really important in that, and making sure that there's a strong focus and that the whole organization knows that they're going to build technical capabilities, they're going to build go-to-market capabilities, and think hard about exactly what are the things that we need to do to build to be successful together. So kind of intent and actual resources devoted to it's important. And you can really see the results when that happens. We've been really happy recently with the growing relationship we have with IBM Consulting, for example. And we've really come together, and we spend time at a senior leadership level together, including myself personally, and lots of other, more importantly, lots of other folks who get work done. And also, really making sure that there's technical interoperability and strong innovation together, and it's great to see that growing. And then I think in addition, having high levels of competence, so that when our partners, show up at customers, they're trusted, customers are glad to have them, they want them back. And the opposite is true. There's nothing that stops us from being able to bring a partner into other customers quicker than getting around that partner showed up at a customer and did not kind of deliver on that trust. And so training and certification becomes so important. And it's been great to see how many of our partners have invested deeply in training and certification. And we've invested too. We've put tremendous resources into training the partner community. And that's cost a lot, quite frankly, but is worth it, and we're glad to do it because it's so important for our end customers. So we're going to continue to resource that. I hope our partners are going to continue to resource that. I think that the ones who will be most successful will actually kind of take the long view in terms of making sure that they have the best practitioners in the world.
Training and certification are always important. You head up all the sustainability initiatives across Amazon.
Yes.
I know it's an issue you're so passionate about. It's close to your heart. You kicked off reInvent this year with a water positive pledge by 2030.
Yeah.
What kind of demands for sustainability are you seeing from customers? And how can partners help customers on their sustainability journeys?
So it's been really interesting. So I've been back at AWS for about a year and a half now, and the difference I've seen in the last 18 months from 5, 6, 7 years ago in the customer conversations around sustainability is day and night. And it was an occasional conversation 6 years ago. And now it's coming up all the time. So just for example, I was in Japan for the week about what seems 6 lifetimes ago, but I think it was only about 8 weeks ago.
Right.
Between then, September, October, November, always a bit of a blur leading up to reInvent. But a couple months ago, I was in Japan, and it was absolutely just striking how 75% of the conversations I was having, and I'm talking about CEOs of some of the largest corporations in Japan, were proactively bringing up and wanting to talk about sustainability. And I was so surprised. I mean, we care a lot about it. I know it's becoming more important to customers, but and some of it, by the way, some of it is philosophical. It's value-based. They're bringing it up because they care about it and they want to know that they're working with partners who share their values and who also care about it. So I think between AWS and all of our partner community, it's just really important to be able to walk the walk and show what we're doing on sustainability and use that to demonstrate that we do have values around that. And you can see this absolutely on the rapid ascent. And I think there are going to be more and more end customers who care a lot about this. Some of them just care about it because, like a lot of us, they just care about the planet and are worried about it. Others of them are going to be regulated into it. But it doesn't really matter the motivation. That the point is that customers are going to need sustainable supply chains. And we, of course, we collectively have become very important parts of their supply chains. So, the best thing that we can, the quickest thing I'll say that we can do for customers collectively is to get them onto the cloud. So there are these studies that have been done showing that compared to the average US enterprise data center, enterprise, by the way, that are running on AWS is 3.6 times more energy efficient. You say, well, what about Europe? Well, maybe Europe's more efficient. No, 5x more efficient in Europe. And so you just move on to the cloud and you'll be more sustainable. So, of course, the ISV solutions need to work on the cloud. The SIs and consultants need to move them to the cloud. Distributors, resellers, et cetera, need to be helping spread the word and help customers make the move. So it's a collective effort that's needed, but just getting them onto the cloud will make them more sustainable. And then the next piece beyond that, we're seeing more and more customers interested in sustainability-related solutions. We get asked the question a lot, not just how do I be more sustainable by being in the cloud, but how can you help me understand and then improve my sustainability across my business? And so there's a ton of partners with a ton of technical capability who are building sustainability-related solutions. Just the next solution. It could be a banking solution. It could be an entertainment solution. But no, now it's sustainability solutions. And I encourage a lot of you to think about what are the sustainability-related solutions, because I firmly believe there will be significant demand for those, and we'd love to be kind of adding those those arrows to the quiver of what we bring to customers together.
Yeah, thanks for the leadership there. So important. So thank you.
Well, we want to be leaders. We want to help light the way. We also just want to inspire others to beat us. Like, we don't be more innovative. Please, I dare you. Out innovate us. I challenge you. Beat us. Show us we're not doing enough, and that you can do more than us. We want to spur everybody along.
So you made a lot of announcements at your reInvent keynote.
We had quite a few.
Made quite a few, as usual, by the way. You didn't let anybody down. What do you want customers and partners to walk away with as they continue on their cloud journeys with AWS, looking at some of the announcements you made at reInvent this year?
Well, there's a number of things, as you might imagine. One is, of course, I talked about this a bit yesterday. It's just an uncertain economic time. There's a few industries which are having significant trouble right now. There's a lot which aren't, but are just worried and uncertain, and businesses, quote unquote, okay, but are just a little bit worried about what's going on. And then, of course, there are some which are still doing just marvelously. But there's this uncertainty in the air, and as I said yesterday, a lot of people are asking, well, should we slow down? Should we pause? And no, now's the time to lean in harder, because of, not in spite of, but because of the economic uncertainty. Our end customers, will save money being in the cloud versus running those applications on different types of infrastructure. they will have more flexibility to wax and wane capacity based on uncertainty. I can't predict what the uncertainty is going to bring, but so you want that flexibility. And they will innovate better, and they will be ready to accelerate through and to be ahead of their competition when coming out the other side. So I think just working together with our end customers to make sure that everybody knows that now's the time to continue to accelerate the cloud journey. So that's definitely one thing. And then I would say continuing to innovate. We're all about customer obsession and innovation, and I think we all share that passion. And if we continue to drive actual innovation and to push ourselves to really understand where customers want us to go next, that'll be really important. And the final thing I'll say is to remember, it's still early. It honestly still is day one. And we're going to look back in 10 years and go, you remember in 2022 when all we had done is A, B, and C? It's still early.
Well, thanks again. As we wrap up, I'd just like to thank you again for the channel commitment, the passion, the leadership and sustainability, the innovation, just relentless as always. And once again, thank you for your channel commitment and for all you do for Partners, Adam. We greatly appreciate it.
No, and we are committed to the channel. We are committed to partners. We'll continue building the partner community. So that'll be a constant.
Thank you so much. Round of applause. Thank you, Adam. Thank you so much. Great job.
Thank you so much, Adam and Stephen. Now, you all heard Adam's challenge, just to work with us on areas where we're investing, like sustainability. You also heard him talk about the importance of training. Now, efforts like that ensure that we have an impact by building for a better tomorrow. And that impact is extending to communities across every corner of the world. When we come together, AWS and our partners, that impact results in a better tomorrow for our planet, as you heard, and a better tomorrow for our people. 2 years ago, Amazon committed to empower 29 million people globally by 2025 by helping grow their technical skills with free cloud training. Since then, AWS has already helped 13 million people gain access to cloud computing skills through free programs. We've launched multiple programs in support of this commitment. We now offer more than 500 courses across 30 cloud technology areas of focus. We're investing hundreds of millions of dollars to reach our goal. We're inspired by the amazing work to close the global skills gap. But it's not just about what AWS is doing alone. Working together with our partners, even more breakthroughs are taking shape to help close the talent gap faster. Take our AWS premier consulting partner, CloudReach, who in 2021 launched its Global Talent Academy with AWS. Through the program, students are given a 2-year bootcamp-style experience to complete multiple AWS certifications. In the first calendar year alone, Cloud Academy expanded to 4 countries, the UK, US, India, and Germany. And they now have aggressive expansion plans in place for Eastern Europe and Africa in 2023. I'm very impressed by CloudReach's vision and dedication to such an impactful global initiative. Other partners across the world are pursuing similar initiatives. So let's take a look at Brazil, where the demand for new IT professionals will be nearly 400,000 by the end of 2022, this year. But only 53,000 enter the market each year to address this challenge. 15 Brazilian system integrator partners saw this challenge, and they created an organization to support closing the skills gap, turning it into an opportunity to have a lasting impact on the most underserved communities in Brazil. Founding partners BR Link and DeHeje brought a diverse group of partners together to address this talent gap and address also supporting underserved communities. Let's take a look.
Meu nome é Alisson Isidro, eu tenho 17 anos. Eu sou de Ferraz de Vasconcelos, São Paulo. O meu sonho era me formar e entrar numa empresa da área de TI em que eu conseguisse ter a minha primeira experiência profissional no mercado de trabalho. Hoje eu me sinto muito feliz, pois no início eu não imaginava que eu iria conseguir e com a ajuda da Escola da Nuvem eu fui contratado pela Da Rede.
Então a Escola da Nuvem ela nasce da união de empresas, de executivos, de profissionais, de mentores, de experts de tecnologia, deixando de lado as suas diferenças, deixando de lado as suas características diversas, com um único objetivo, de promover oportunidade para aqueles que mais precisam.
Em parceria com a AWS, temos a missão de fazer uma escola para as comunidades carentes, com o objetivo de proporcionar uma formação gratuita em computação de nuvem. A gente saiu de uma capacidade de formar 600 alunos por ano para uma capacidade de formar mais de 2.000 alunos. Mas o nosso trabalho não só é formar esses alunos na competência técnica. O grande foco nosso é a empregabilidade, é como inseri-los no mercado de trabalho.
Olá, eu sou Edilene, eu tenho 49 anos e a Escola da Nuvem entrou na minha vida num momento muito difícil. Eu tenho um filho pequeno e às vezes era complicado, conciliar os estudos. Com a ajuda dos monitores e dos professores, eu consegui concluir o curso de Fundamentos em AWS. A Escola da Nuvem me conectou a uma empresa parceira quando eu terminei o curso, e hoje eu trabalho com computação em nuvem. Pretendo continuar estudando e focar em DevOps. A Escola da Nuvem me abriu possibilidades e o mundo está cheio de oportunidades.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say the work we're doing together is having a people impact. It's literally changing lives. Now I have a surprise for you. We're so thrilled that the CEO of Escola de Nuvem and one of the students from the video, Edeline, were able to join us here in Las Vegas today. And to have a quick conversation with them, I'd like to introduce Chris Sullivan, General Manager of AWS Worldwide System Integrators, and welcome Anna and Edeline.
I first learned about Escola de Nuvem last year at reInvent when I had a meeting with Rafa Marangoni, who is one of the founders. I was immediately inspired by his passion for their mission to connect people with opportunities that they otherwise would not have access to and to positively impact their lives. It's incredible to be sitting here today talking about just how far we've come since that meeting. Now, Edeline, you're an amazing example of the work of Escola de Nuvem and how connecting cloud skills can change one's life. What excited you about the cloud industry and inspired you to make this change in your career at this point in your life?
Para ser honesta, não foi um movimento totalmente planejado. Começou com uma vontade de estudar algo novo e quanto mais eu entendia esse mercado da nuvem, mais eu me apaixonava pela nuvem. Eu percebi o quão rápido esse mercado estava crescendo e a grande variedade de oportunidades que isso representava. Hoje, eu tenho a certeza de que eu fiz a escolha certa. Eu não vejo nada além de um futuro promissor e sustentável para a nuvem e para mim. Eu sinto que nada pode me parar agora.
To be honest, that wasn't a planned move. It started as a desire to learn something new, and the more I understood this market and its possibilities, the more I fell in love with the cloud. The second reason is that I realized how fast this market was growing and the wide array of opportunities that it represented. Today, I'm positive that I made the right choice. I see nothing but a successful and sustainable future for cloud and for me. I feel that nothing can stop me now.
Thank you, Edeline. Now, Anna, I had the opportunity to interact with another student, Gabriel. He shared with me that after his experience with Escola de Nuvem, he received multiple job opportunities, making 5 times what he was making prior to that, and how that impacted his life. What really impresses me about Escola de Nuvem is the full life cycle of support that you provide your students, from job skilling to job readiness and preparedness, to job placement and job success. That's incredible. In the work that you've done so far, to understand that you have placed over 66% of your students in jobs, that's impact. Now, how is Escola de Nuvem partnering with AWS to continue to scale this work?
Cris, a AWS faz parte da Escola da Nuvem desde o nosso primeiro dia, quando dois parceiros da AWS, conversando, entenderam que poderiam contribuir para um mundo melhor, ajudando para pessoas em situação de vulnerabilidade. Desde então, desde aquela conversa no reInvent de 2021, a nossa parceria mudou de patamar. Ela teve investimentos financeiros para a nossa operação, contribuição em conteúdo, ferramentas de ensino e agora com o programa do Restart, que vai nos possibilitar sair de 600 alunos para impactar mais de 2.000 vidas.
AWS has been part of Escola da Nuvem since our day one. Their day one, when two AWS partners decided that it could shape a better future for people in underserved communities. After that conversation that Chris mentioned in 2021, reInvent, this partnership has been taken to the next level in terms of operations funding, content, tools, and access to programs like AWS Restart. This will allow Escola da Nuvem to scale from 600 student spots and impact more than 2,000 students in 2023 and growing 2x in the following years.
While we've learned so much in our work with Escola da Nuvem and made significant progress, there is still a tremendous opportunity for us all to come together in support of our communities around the world. Working together, we can expand access to cloud skills to achieve the necessary change to create jobs and include everyone in the cloud economy. I encourage all of you who want to get involved to talk to your AWS counterparts and bring new ideas and opportunities to the table, because this extraordinary work will continue to have a rippling effect that impacts us all. Back to you, Ruba.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you to Edeline and Anna for making the trip from Brazil to be with us today. You are such an inspiration. We are constantly inspired by initiatives like Escola da Nuvem and the things that our partners are doing. So we started today talking about sports, that even in seemingly individual sports, it's not just the individual determination, it's not just perseverance, but it's the commitment of partners that help that individual earn victory. What we've learned with the marathoner is that running isn't an individual sport. And one similar sport is cycling, where the team helps propel the individual across the finish line. They do this through what's called a peloton. A peloton is a large group of cyclists who ride in a close-knit pack to reach their destination faster and more efficiently. And whether it's done on the grueling course of the Tour de France or a club ride on the weekend, the word carries the same connotations: speed, efficiency, camaraderie. Cyclists can nearly double the energy savings by riding in a peloton, reducing drag by up to a staggering 96%. And riders say that when in the heart of the peloton, they just move forward. It's a thing of beauty, moving forward together. And just like that, when AWS and our partners work together, we propel our customers over the finish line. And that is our destination. And our promise to you is to continue to provide you with more and more pathways to achieve transformation that goes beyond incremental change. Achieve innovation through meaningful solutions that improve customers' businesses. Reach more of those customers and expand your opportunities with them with AWS. And do that while having an impact on our planet and our communities together. These four attributes define the relationship between AWS and our partners. They're the power behind the definition of Together Unlimited. Because together, we have the ability to reimagine everything. And together, with AWS, our partners and our customers, our potential is limitless. I want to give a big thank you to the customers and partners who joined me on stage today. A thank you to the AWS team who works so passionately every day on your behalf. And thank you to you for the partnership, for being part of our team and working with us to deliver for our customers. Enjoy the rest of reInvent. Thank you all.